Right, so we're diving deep today into Italy, Piemonte, to be exact, all about the wine.
Piemonte, such a gem.
And you guys sent in some amazing stuff, a guidebook, and some really interesting excerpts too. Lots on, well, the wine, of course, but food too, and what it's like to actually travel there.
And what's so captivating about Piemonte, it's not just rows and rows of vines.
Okay, so paint me a picture. What am I seeing?
Imagine you're in northwest Italy,
Okay.
right up against the Alps. So you have, yeah, rolling hills covered in vines, obviously. But you look up and bam, there's those crisp mountain views. You've got these charming little towns, even lakes, super serene. It's an escape, not just for the wine.
Okay, I'm sold on the scenery. But let's get down to business.
Yeah.
The wine. What makes it so special?
It's the geography, honestly. It plays such a huge role.
I was reading about that, something about the climate being a factor.
Big time. So the Alps, right, they create these hot summers, perfect for ripening those grapes. But then winter hits, and it's cold, snowy. That shift, that back and forth, it's part of what makes these wines so unique. So unique.
Now, I kept saying this word nebbia. What's the deal with that?
The nebbia, it means fog, basically. Italian for fog. And it's everywhere in the mornings. Blankets, the vineyards.
Okay, so pretty. But how does fog make the wine taste different?
Well, think about it. Fog, it's cool, damp. So the grapes, they ripen slower. More time to develop those aromas, the flavors. It's not just the nebbia, though. You've got the soil, too. Piemonte has it all.
Yeah.
Clay, limestone, sand. And each one, well, they bring something different to the party.
So wait, are you saying the dirt the grapes grow in actually changes how the wine tastes?
100%. For example, let's say clay soil. It gives you those powerful wines, full-bodied. But then you've got limestone, and that's all about elegance, finesse. It's this whole concept, terroir, they call it. Climate, soil, even how the people work the land. It all matters.
So it's like each sip is a snapshot of that specific place.
You got it. And speaking of snapshots, let's talk history. Winemaking in Piemonte, it goes way back.
Way, way back. Romans, right. What I find fascinating is how many different cultures have influenced the wines over time.
That's what makes it so interesting. You've got Roman influences, sure, but also French. Even a touch of Austrian in there. It's like history in every bottle.
I read about some of the winemaking families too, like dynasties almost.
Exactly. You've got these families, generations and generations making wine the same way their ancestors did. Some names, like Gaggia. Those are practically royalty in the wine world.
Something so romantic about that, isn't there? Passing down knowledge over centuries.
And that's the beauty of Piemonte. It's this blend, tradition, but also innovation. You have those families honoring the old ways, but they're not afraid to experiment, to push the boundaries, new techniques, but always respecting the past. It's a balance, a really cool balance.
Let's talk grapes. One seems to really stand out in Piemonte. Nebbiolo.
Ugh, Nebbiolo. The heart and soul of the region, no question. It's the grape behind those legendary wines. Barolo, Barbaresco. They're in a league of their own.
So spill the secrets. What makes Nebbiolo so special?
Well, first off, the tannins. They're powerful. Give the wine structure. Make them age beautifully, like decades. Then you've got the acidity. Keeps them lively, even after all that time in the cellar. And oh, the aromas.
Okay, paint me a picture. I'm swirling my glass. What am I smelling?
Think red fruits, cherries, raspberries. But then it gets deeper. Spice, leather, even a hint of roses. Sometimes you even get this, tar note. Trust me, it works.
And all those tannins, you said these wines are meant to age. Like, how long are we talking?
Oh, Nebbiolo. It's a marathon, not a sprint. In their youth, they can be, well, a little rough around the edges, tannic, even a bit austere. But give them time. Those tannins soften, the wine opens up, becomes more complex, more elegant. We're talking decades sometimes. The best ones, they evolve with each year.
And names to watch out for like top-tier Nebbiolo.
Conterno, Giacosa. Those are names to remember. They're making some truly exceptional wines. But Nebbiolo isn't the only star,
Right, because I saw other grapes mentioned. Barbera, for one.
Barbera is actually the most planted grape in Piemonte, way more than Nebbiolo. And it's so versatile. You can drink it young, all fresh and fruity, or age it for something more complex, savory. It's all about what you're in the mood for.
And then there's Dolcetto. I just love that name.
Dolcetto, it means little sweet. Little misleading, though. The wines are dry, known for being super easy to drink, food-friendly. Might not have the aging potential of Nebbiolo, but hey, sometimes you just want a delicious wine to enjoy right now.
Okay, all this talk about reds has me thirsty, but I'm curious about the whites too. The Cortese grape, specifically, that's the one they use for Gavi, right?
Ah, Gavi. This is where Piemonte shows off its white wine game. These wines are crisp, mineral-driven, think refreshing, almost salty even, perfect for seafood or lighter dishes.
And what about Arnais? Saw that mentioned too.
Arnis, now that one is all about the aromas. Citrus blossoms, white peaches. Such a delightful contrast to those bolder reds.
It sounds like Piemonte has it all. Red or white. Bold or delicate. It's making me hungry, though.
Yeah.
And from what I've read, the food is just as amazing as the wine.
Oh, you have no idea. Piemonte's cuisine is just as remarkable as its wines, honestly. Rustic, hearty dishes meant for those complex wines we were talking about.
Yeah.
And it's all about what's local, what's in season.
Okay, give me some examples. I need details.
Well, you can't talk about Piemonte without mentioning carne cruda all'albese. It's raw beef, very finely minced, just a little olive oil, lemon, salt.
Sounds simple, right?
Simple, but I bet the quality of the ingredients makes all the difference.
You nailed it. Another one you got to try is vitello tonnato. It's veal, sliced thin, topped with this creamy sauce, made with tuna, capers, anchovies. I know, it sounds strange.
Strange, but I'm strangely intrigued. What about pasta? Any Piemonte specialties? Aganotti del Plin. Tiny pasta parcels, pinched by hand. Filled with, well, it could be meat, cheese, all kinds of things. Delicate, flavorful, a real labor of love.
Oh, and I saw those pictures. They're adorable.
Yeah.
And speaking of culinary treasures, the white truffles of Alba. We have to talk about those.
Ah, the white truffles. They're legendary for a reason. That aroma, that earthy flavor, incredible. Super rare, though, and pricey. They're only around for a short time each fall. But if you're a foodie, it's an experience worth every penny. Every penny.
All right, so wine, food. Now I'm thinking about actually getting myself to Piemonte. Best time to visit? Sounds like spring or fall, based on the guidebook.
Spring or fall, can't go wrong. Good weather for exploring. Plus, in the fall, you might just catch truffle season.
And getting around renting a car seems like the way to go.
Definitely. Public transport, not so great. Especially if you want to explore those smaller villages, the wineries off the beaten path. With a car, you're free. Go at your own pace.
Okay, mental note, rent the car. Now, help me plan this itinerary. Where do I absolutely have to go?
If you want to hit the classics, the long region, that's where you'll find Barolo, Barbaresco. It's charming towns, iconic wineries, and the views. Forget about it.
But I also love the idea of going off the beaten path a bit, finding those hidden gems.
I like how you think. So instead of just the long, how about regions like, say, Gavi or Carema? They're doing really interesting things with their wines. Unique stuff you won't find anywhere else. Plus, way less crowded.
Oh, I love that. Now, the source mentioned something about themed trips, like specifically focusing on organic wineries. What makes those wineries different?
Okay, so organic in this context means no synthetic stuff, no pesticides, herbicides, all that. Biodynamic, that's even stricter. It's about treating the vineyard like an ecosystem. Everything's connected. And there are wineries all over Piemonte dedicated to these practices.
So many options. It's getting me excited. But what if I only have, a day in Piemonte?
Even one day, you can still get a taste of the magic. If you're short on time, pick one or two towns, start your morning in Barolo, check out the Wimu Wine Museum. They've got a great collection, tells the story of Barolo, and the views from the museum itself. Wow.
What about Barbaresco? Should I head there in the afternoon?
Barbaresco, it's a little more laid back, less intense than Barolo. You could stroll through the town, maybe stop by the regional Enoteca. They have a ton of Barbaresco wines there. Great spot to taste and compare.
The guidebook also mentioned Monferrato. Sounds like there's a lot of history there.
Monferrato, think medieval castles. Castello di Gabbiano is one you should look up. Perched on this hilltop, breathtaking views of the whole countryside. Like stepping back in time, really.
You've painted such a vivid picture. I'm already feeling transported. What we've learned is that Piemonte is more than just wine. It's an entire experience. The food, the history, the scenery, it all blends together.
That's what makes it so special, right? It's not just about one thing. It's about the whole package.
Well said. But we're just getting started. There's so much more to uncover in Piemonte. Stick with us. We're diving even deeper in part 2.
Welcome back to Piemonte. We've only just scratched the surface.
I'm already feeling inspired, I gotta say. But before I book a flight, let's talk logistics.
Logistics, sure. We touched on the best times to visit. Spring, fall, renting a car. That's key for flexibility.
Okay, but getting there, are we talking major airports? Or is it more of a scenic train journey situation?
Closest major airport is Turin International. It's well connected, easy to get to, and from there, it's an easy drive to most of the wine regions, I mean.
Turin, got it. Now, road trip, always fun. But a train through the Italian countryside, That's romantic.
Oh, you can totally do that. Italy's train system is great. Some seriously scenic routes through Piemonte. Hop on a train in Turin, you can reach those smaller towns, no car needed, but you might be a little limited once you're there.
Decisions, decisions. So many choices. Looking through this guidebook, I'm overwhelmed. Where do I even start?
What kind of traveler are you? All about the classic wine experience? Or are you more of a, off the beaten path kind of person?
You know me, always on the hunt for hidden gems.
Okay, adventurous. So instead of just sticking to the long, how about the Roro region?
Roro, I don't think I came across that.
It's right across the river from the Long, the Tanaro River, but totally different vibe. The soil is sandier, hills are steeper, the wines, they have their own thing going on.
Okay, you've piqued my interest. Tell me more.
So Roro, they do Nebbiolo too, but it's different. Lighter, more approachable than Barolo. Approachable, I mean, less tannic, can be enjoyed younger,
Yeah.
but still complex, still structured, It's Nebbiolo, but a different side of it.
Roro added to the list.
Yeah.
But even hidden gems need specific destinations, right? Any towns, any wineries I should check out?
Canali is a good one. Charming town, medieval architecture, views of the vineyards, stunning. They even have a wine museum there.
A wine museum.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my kind of museum. And for actual wineries. Any favorites in Roro?
Malvira. Check them out. They're making exceptional Royer wines, especially their single vineyard Nebbiolo. Family-run, generations of winemakers, passionate about preserving the Roro traditions.
Love that. The history, the tradition. It adds something special, you know? Speaking of special, I read about cooking classes at some of the wineries.
Oh, yeah, that's one of the best things about Piemonte. It's not just about drinking the wine. It's about, living it, learning to cook the food, the traditional dishes, fresh ingredients, local, it all connects.
Imagine this. Morning, exploring vineyards, learning about the winemaking. Then, boom, we're in a kitchen. Aprons on, making pasta from scratch.
Perfect Piemonte day. And, of course, we got to have the wine pairings.
Obviously, we'd have to sample some Barbera or Dolcetto with our homemade pasta.
Maybe a little Moscato d'Asti for dessert.
Okay, stop. I'm getting hungry. But before we get carried away, we got to talk about choosing the right wineries. Right. How do we even begin?
Research. Tons of wineries in Piemonte. Each one is different. Some are big, modern, all fancy. Others small, family-run, more intimate. Depends what you're looking for.
Help me prioritize. What should I be looking for?
Think about the experience you want. You want to learn about the history, taste a wide range of wines. Or are you focused on one specific thing, like, I don't know, a single vineyard Barolo?
I got to say, those family-run wineries, they call to me. Hearing the stories, feeling that connection, that's what I love.
Then definitely seek out the smaller producers. They're the ones who are usually the most passionate about sharing their knowledge, their love for the region. Don't be afraid to ask questions. They love that.
More questions, more learning. Speaking of learning, can we have a quick history lesson? Barolo, Barbaresco, these iconic wines, what's their story?
Their story, it's Piemonte in a nutshell, both made from Nebbiolo, but from different areas within the line, different soil, different traditions.
So what sets them apart? Give me the quick version.
Barolo. They call it the king of wines. Powerful, structured, ages forever, full-bodied, tannic, complex, dark fruits, spice, even that tar and roses thing. Needs time, patience, but worth it.
And Barbaresco, is that like the queen then?
Something like that. Still Nebbiolo, but Barbaresco is more elegant, feminine, lighter-bodied, softer tannins. Doesn't age quite as long, maybe, but still complex, still age-worthy, just maybe a bit more approachable when it's young.
So if I want a wine that's ready to drink now, Barbaresco.
Not necessarily. There are younger Barolos that are drinking beautifully, especially the ones from producers who are doing things, a little more modern. But yeah, generally Barbaresco softens up a bit earlier.
Okay, good to know. Now, the places themselves, what makes them unique? Where the wines are made, I mean.
So Barolo, it's all hilly, different soil types, clay, limestone, sand. That's what makes the wines so complex, so varied. And then there are these official subzones, crusts they call them, 11 of them. Each one has its own personality.
It's like a puzzle, isn't it? Each piece makes the whole picture.
Exactly. And Barbaresco, it's smaller than Barolo, but still different terroirs. The soil there is mostly this calcareous marl, gives the wines that elegance, that structure. And they have 3 main crusts. Asili, Rabaja, Monte Stefano, each one a different expression of Nebbiolo.
Crash course in wine geography. But we can't forget, this is more than just wine, right? History, culture, nature.
That's what makes it so fascinating. One day you're exploring vineyards, tasting wines. Next day you're at a medieval castle or in a charming town or surrounded by these amazing landscapes.
It's a feast for the senses, basically. But let's talk food again, because Well, I'm hungry.
Ah, food, the best part. We talked about some specialties, but we got to talk about food and wine pairings.
Because what good is an amazing wine if you don't have the perfect food to go with it? Let's get specific. What are some pairings that really show off what Piemonte is all about?
Okay, so carne cruda a la besse, Piemonte classic. Simple but elegant. Shows you how much they care about quality ingredients. Raw beef, minced super fine, just olive oil, lemon juice, salt. But the meat, it has to be top notch.
What kind of wine would you even drink with something so delicate?
You need something light, won't overpower the meat. In Bolchetto d'Alba, that's perfect. Bright acidity, fruity notes that'll complement the beef without, hiding those subtle flavors.
Sounds like a dream pairing. What else? Hit me with another.
Okay, Vitello Tonato. This is classic Piemonte. Tradition meets creativity. Veal, sliced thin, served cold, topped with this sauce made with tuna, mayo, capers, anchovies.
Whoa, a lot going on there. What wine can handle all that?
Something with structure, complexity. Barbara d'Asti, that would be great. The acidity cuts through the richness of the sauce, the dark fruit, the spice. It all complements the veal.
Another winner. Now, I got to ask about pasta.
Mm.
What would you pair with those cute little agnolati del plan?
Agnolati, comfort food, right? Traditional filling is roasted meat, but you can get cheese, vegetables, all kinds of things. The wine has to complement the filling, the sauce.
Let's say we go classic. Meat filling. What are we pouring?
Nebbiolo d'Alba. It's lighter than Barolo or Barbaresco, but still those aromas, red fruit, flowers, spice, perfect with savory flavors.
And if you're feeling cheesy,
go white, Gavi. Crisp, minerally, citrus notes, cuts through that richness. Perfect balance.
you're making my mouth water. What about dessert? We can't forget dessert.
Piemonte does hazelnuts really well. Classic pairing. Moscato d'Asti with hazelnut cake biscotti.
Mm-hmm.
The sweetness, the floral aromas go perfectly with the nuts. Great way to end a meal.
You're making me want to book that flight, right now. But before I do anything rash, let's talk planning. Where do we even start?
What do you want? Luxury wine resort? Rustic agriturismo? One specific region like the Long? Or exploring different areas? Got to figure out your priorities.
So many choices. I'm feeling overwhelmed again.
It can be a lot. That's where research comes in. Maybe talk to a travel agent, one who specializes in wine, They can help you plan something that fits what you want and your budget.
Good tip. What about language? Is that going to be a problem?
Most places, tourist areas, you'll be fine. But learning a few Italian phrases, always a good idea. Shows respect, makes the experience better.
Always good to learn a little of the language. Now, money. Is Piemonte, super expensive? Or can you do it on a budget?
It's got something for everyone. Sure, there's luxury, Michelin-starred restaurants, fancy wine tastings, but there are also B&Bs, family-run trattorias, wineries with affordable tastings. Depends what you're looking for.
So you can splurge on some things, maybe save on others.
Exactly. Don't underestimate those simple things. Picnics in the vineyards, local markets, that's the real Piemonte.
Okay, I'm convinced. Piemonte, here I come. But let's take a step back, big picture. What really stands out to you about Piemonte? What makes it so special?
It's the sense of place. Everything's connected
Yeah.
to the land, the history, the traditions. They take pride in what they do. It shows in the wine, the food, the way of life.
Couldn't agree more. Piemonte reminds you of what's important. Good food, good wine, good company, and appreciating, the beauty around you.
That's it. But we're not done yet. There's still more to explore. Join us for the final part of our Piemonte deep dive.
We're back. Piemonte, Part 3. I gotta say, this deep dive, it's been eye-opening.
It's a special place, that's for sure.
I mean, we've covered so much. The geography, those Nebbiolo grapes, the food, the people, and it's connected, isn't it?
That's the beauty of it, yeah.
Like when you actually taste a Barolo after you've seen the vineyards, talk to the winemakers, it hits different,
It's about understanding, right? The connection, the land, the people, the product, it's all right there. You can feel it.
Okay, so let's say I'm booking that trip, but I want to go beyond the typical tourist stuff. Hidden gems. What you got?
Hidden gems, huh? I like it. Well, if you're really looking to go off the beaten path, explore some of those smaller wine regions.
Smaller, give me an example.
Lasona or Bramaterra, they don't have the fame of Barolo, Barbaresco, but they're doing some really interesting things. Show you a different side of Piemonte.
Lasona, okay?
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. What's so special about it?
It's tiny, tucked away in the foothills of the Alps. And yeah, they do Nebbiolo there too. But it's Lasona Nebbiolo. It's its own thing.
How so?
Think about it. Cooler climate, different soils. So the wines, lighter bodied, more elegant. You can drink them younger. If you really love Nebbiolo, gotta try Lasona. It'll blow your mind.
Lasona added to the list.
Yeah.
Now, I'm all about experiences. What about festivals? Local events, something that really captures the spirit of Piemonte.
Oh, Piemonte does festivals right. Lots of them celebrate the land, the harvest. You can't miss the Fiera del Tartufo Bianco d'Alba,
Wait, is that the...
the White Truffle Fair. It's in Alba every fall. They go all out for those white truffles.
I've heard about these truffles. What's it actually like being there?
Imagine truffle-infused everything, dishes you've never even dreamed of, truffle auctions. You can even go on a truffle hunt with a trained dog, the whole 9 yards.
That sounds amazing. I can already smell those truffles.
Then if you want something, well, a little more unique, there's the Palio degli Asini,
The what now?
the Donkey Palio. It's in Alba, too. September. It's a donkey race through the streets.
Donkey race.
Yep, been going on since the Middle Ages.
So are we talking like serious racing donkeys?
Not exactly. More like enthusiastic participants. It's more about the spectacle, the fun. The whole town gets involved.
Love that. Piemonte doesn't take itself too seriously.
That's part of the charm. Sophisticated, sure, but also playful, connected to its roots.
Okay, but let's not forget the scenery. I've heard it's pretty spectacular.
Spectacular is an understatement. Head to the Lying Hills. That's where it's at. Rolling vineyards, little towns on the hilltops, and the backdrop, the Alps.
I'm picturing it. Crisp air, sunshine, vineyards as far as the eye can see.
And if you really want to see it all, take a hot air balloon ride over the vineyards. Unforgettable.
All right, bucket list check. We've done it all. Wine, food, culture, the landscapes. Piemonte really does have something for everyone. Foodies, wine lovers, history buffs, nature lovers.
And it all comes together, you know? It's not just separate things. It's a feeling, harmony, balance. They live in tune with nature. Tradition meets innovation. And there's this appreciation for, well, for the good life.
So well said. Before we say goodbye to Piemonte, anything else our listeners should know? Any parting words of wisdom?
Go with an open mind. Be curious. Try new things. Step outside your comfort zone. Be open to the unexpected. Piemonte will reward you for it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So, to everyone listening, consider this your invitation to discover Piemonte. Whether you're planning a trip or just dreaming about it, we hope this deep dive has given you a taste of what's waiting for you. Cheers to the good life, everyone.
Tell you.